I'm Ashton Addison from EventChain for Investmentpitch Media and FinTech News Network. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Eden Dhaliwal, the Global Managing Director of Conflux Network. Eden, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to dive into Conflux Network. So if we could kick off the interview by getting the viewers up to speed with a little bit of the background on Conflux Network and what is the purpose and the vision of the project?
Sure. So Conflux is a high performance layer one blockchain, and it's led by Turing Award winner Dr. Andy Yao. This project was born out of the labs of Shanghai University, which is sort of the Harvard MIT of China. And after we made a breakthrough in solving what's known as the blockchain trilemma problem, we decided to introduce this technology to the world as a global public network with the purpose of facilitating open commerce and cross-border collaboration. And so in 2018, we conducted a regulatory compliant fundraise of $35 million to build out this infrastructure. And since then, we've earned the status of being the only state-endorsed public permissionless blockchain in China, which puts us in a fantastic position to introduce the benefits of public infrastructure in China and provide a regulatory compliant gateway to the China market for global players.
Wow, that's very exciting. And congratulations on all of that so far. And still so early on. And I just want to dive a little bit more into the technology side because a lot of people are familiar with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and this is being a layer one protocol as well. Can you talk about if there's anything unique specifically to Conflux Network and maybe if there are any major differences between the other smart contracting platforms like Ethereum and EOS?
Well, in traditional blockchain architecture like Bitcoin, what happens is that there's a longest chain rule that determines the main chain, and what happens is all the forked blocks get discarded and don't affect the longest chain determination. And so the transaction of these forked blocks are not recorded, and therefore miners aren't rewarded. So that's a disadvantage. And then furthermore, the computing power invested in the discarded blocks doesn't contribute to the security or the throughput of the system. So it kind of makes it suboptimal. In Ethereum's case, you have an algorithm that chooses the heaviest subtree in selecting how to discard these forked blocks. So they're able to shorten the block generation time from 10 minutes to like under 15 seconds. But it also inefficiently discards a lot more forked blocks. And so that's sort of the downside of proof of stake. Proof of stake is more energy efficient than proof of work. But there's still significant technical and security threats and unknowns that'll still take some time to work through as proof of stake gets launched and then even afterwards. With Conflux, what we've done is we've combined the benefits of a proof of work blockchain with a directed acyclical graph. We've combined that to create a high performance, what we call tree graph consensus protocol. And so the key breakthrough is that Conflux is able to optimistically process concurrent blocks without discarding any as forks, which results in increased scalability, increased security, and increased extensibility.
Okay, very interesting. And yeah, I was reading about how the proof of work blockchain has a lot more history to it, and they've sort of worked out the kinks. And you were mentioning in the beginning about the trilemma, having that
That's right.
decentralization, scalability, and security. And you've managed to heighten the security and the scalability with Conflux, and as well leading towards commerce and actually having a strong platform that dApps can be built on so that you can actually have business running. Can you talk a little bit about how you heightened the scalability and the security of the platform? And is there one of those directions which is most important for Conflux?
Well, I think everybody knows scalability is still sort of the key challenge for blockchains, and to improve it, consensus algorithms are the most limiting factor. And so, we increased on-chain transactions by designing this unique tree graph consensus mechanism. And this consensus mechanism now allows users to maximize the throughput to over 3,500 transactions per second without sacrificing decentralization and security. And we can also, with the tree graph consensus protocol, optimize confirmation times to around 20 seconds, which provides the same level of security as 6 blocks in Bitcoin, 30 blocks in Ethereum. And I think probably, as important as anything, what this consensus protocol allows users is a reduced transaction fee of less than 1% of that in Ethereum.
Wow. Yeah, that's a major difference. And that's 3,500 transactions seems to be adequate, at least out of the get-go for the mainnet, which you're leading up to. And having that fast confirmation to allow you to have the flexibility to make transactions without having to wait at least 10 minutes with Bitcoin, to buy your coffee is a little bit infeasible. So that's a great first step. And now I want to talk about Conflux moving towards the mainnet launch. The platform's been in the works for a few years now, making sure that you get every detail right. And it's tough to launch on your own and get adoption through development and e-commerce and get dApps built on the platform. So I'm guessing that you've been working on building partnerships within the industry to allow stronger players to help you grow. Can you talk about some of the partnerships you're making with Conflux Network?
Sure. So, I think for us, one of the things that we're focusing on is not just putting transactions on the network, but putting transactions with real value on the network. And so we've strategically, what's benefited us, what we've been able to leverage through our endorsement with the government is this ability to onboard government projects, which gives us sort of recurring long-term use cases in accruing and building value on our network. And so, we've got government use cases around supply chain management, green energy traceability, data centers, construction tracking. So as a baseline in building and accruing transactions with value, this has been our beachhead, working through these government projects. But beyond that, we're very interested and focused on decentralized finance and facilitating cross-border commerce. And so we've been partnering with groups like Lissix and Definer to kind of help enable liquidity and services in the DeFi space as well.
Yeah, I was just going to touch on that because decentralized finance has become such a hot topic for a lot of blockchain companies throughout 2020, and it's becoming almost as popular as in 2017, the ICO craze, and getting a lot of attention from people that haven't been involved in the industry, which could be a very good thing. How important is the DeFi aspect for Conflux moving forward?
Well, it's very important. We have this vision of enabling open commerce, right? And we view open commerce, or we define open commerce as providing the ability for users to acquire financial services, sort of us providing an infrastructure that enables financial inclusivity, that enables liquid markets where assets can move freely across blockchains, across borders. And so the type of things that we're really interested in are, stable coins. We're also interested in DeFi applications in emerging markets. We've got a pretty big community in Southeast Asia. We've got a team in Africa. And so we're looking to kind of build those services in those areas.
Mm-hmm.
And then, beyond that, I mean, we're continually sort of building, incentivizing infrastructure, that
Mm-hmm.
working with other DeFi ecosystems to sort of facilitate liquidity for the broader sort of crypto markets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and working with the community and incentivizations, I think, will be key because although the industry is working together to make a name for itself, and we really have to do work together, there is a lot of developers that are already working on Ethereum and the main platforms that have already been working on it for a few years. But I was reading into Conflux in terms of your development and building some of these DeFi applications and supply chain applications that often there are incentives. And it looks like Conflux has a grant program. And this program, you've allocated up to $240 million in Conflux, which sounds like a huge amount. Can you talk about what is needed for this grant program? Are there certain requirements, or are you just looking for developers and researchers of all kind to help build the network?
Right. So this is a multi-year grants program designed to kick off the creation of essential components of the technology stack. So it's meant to incentivize building blocks for other developers and entrepreneurs to build decentralized services on Conflux. That's sort of first and foremost what we're trying to incentivize with this grants program. This will bring us closer to the developer community and support a wide variety of innovations. I think we've only had it launched now for about a week, but we've seen a ton of interest from all like a wide variety of regions. Stretching from Nigeria, India, Colombia, North America, and so we're evaluating these projects right now, and we'll be approving these on a rolling basis,
Mm-hmm.
and we're looking for everything from ideas, proposals around developer tooling to dApps, DeFi dApps, to even proposals around community building. So
Mm-hmm.
we're really excited about it. We've got a ton of interest already, and we think there's going to be a lot of exciting stuff coming up, over the next few years around this grants program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that does sound very exciting. And I was researching into the mainnet for Conflux, which seems to be very near, relatively.
Right.
You've been working on this for a few years. Can you talk about, is there a timeline for when the mainnet will come out? And what are the goals from now until then? Is it mainly just working through this grants program and getting people to develop on the platform?
Yeah, so I mean, we're really excited. In October, that is when we are expecting mainnet to launch. We've been working towards it. We're in the middle of our final phase towards mainnet. Which has been oriented around decentralizing our mining, and we're very happy with sort of the successful implementation of our POW algorithm and the decentralization of our node operators. So from a technical standpoint, we're pretty much there. I think the other priorities for us is community building. We've launched a monthly virtual global meetup that's sort of bringing thought leaders from China, from North America, all together to kind of create a global Conflux community. We're working with developers very closely to kind of help create the developer tools that'll enable the dApps, that we're looking for, that can sort of demonstrate the value of decentralized services. And of course, the grants program is going to enable a lot of these activities. And so, I do think that there's going to be a lot of exciting partnership and grants announcements over the next 6 months, particularly after mainnet in October.
Oh, great. Well, we're running out of time, but if the viewers are interested in learning more about the grants program, whether it's for developers or for non-developers, and for more information leading up to the mainnet, what's the best way to learn more about Conflux Network and to get involved?
Sure. So to access our grants program, you can log on to grants.confluxnetwork.org. If you're looking for information on Conflux, confluxnetwork.org, you'll find us there. And then, we're on Twitter at conflux_network. And then everybody's welcome to, have conversations with us on Telegram. We've got a number of channels, but I think for this audience, at conflux_English is probably the best channel.
Great, Eden. I will leave those links in the description box below. Thank you so much for your time. All the best with the grants program and leading up to the mainnet for Conflux Network. And let's follow up in the near future.
Sounds good. Thanks.